Hi everyone, welcome back in. My name is Carla Berlin on Around Town TV, and we're back at FSBO Homes in Woodbury. And if you were joined us at the top, right at 7 o'clock, you probably saw that it was breaking up. And the beauty of live streaming, that can happen. And we have, we have all the equipment. Of course, I got here 2 hours early. I tested everything; it worked perfectly. So I'm not sure what happened at 7 o'clock, but here we are again. If it does break up, we will upload the full video by tonight, so you'll have it from Vimeo. So if you need to rewatch it or we miss your comments. So this is on multiple pages. So if we don't see your comment live tonight, we will by tonight and respond as well. And we will upload the full version, like I said. But I'm here with the owner of FSBOHomes.com Woodbury, Vince Meyer, who's also the managing partner here in the Twin Cities. And I also have Brandon Peterson and Michael, say your last name?
Hammerlin.
Yep, and he'll be joining us. You probably can't see him right now, but he'll be joining us momentarily. We're going to first talk to Vince, and before I ask you the questions, yep, it looks like we're back live again. Yep, looks like we're back with it, and I'm going to just see what everyone looks like. Looks like we're okay. So I was asking when it was breaking up, there's a lot of FSBO businesses, but there is definitely a lot of things that set FSBOHomes.com Woodbury, as well as the FSBOHomes.com business apart from all the rest.
Yep.
And you were into that when it cut you off. So
Yeah.
yes.
So, the thing that makes us different from a lot of those companies out there is we don't just give you a sign and say, here you go, and help you upload it to a few of the key sites. We enlist the professionals to come in and do it right. So Michael's our photographer, and I'm going to let Michael talk here in just a little bit and tell you a little bit about why we feel the photography is so important to showcase the home correctly. We also use the Matterport camera system, which is a 3D camera. And for anybody selling their home, that's super nice because the potential buyers are going to get to walk through that home multiple times before they call an inconvenience sometimes you to come walk through your home. And again, Michael, before he came on board with our team, he sold his home, and 46 times he had to leave his home to allow the realtor to come in and show the home. And there again,
not through FSBOHomes.com.
Not through FSBO Homes.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Important point.
Before Michael, Michael joined our team, before we opened our office here.
And you can't see him, but you will in a little bit.
Yeah. He had sold his house through a realtor, and there was 46 times where he got the phone call, can you please clean up the house and vacate so we can come show your home? And that's awesome. What's so cool about the Matterport. So we have that piece. The second piece that we feel is very important is an unbiased opinion on what your property is worth. And so we have an appraiser that provides an appraisal, a certified appraisal up front. So you can look at the comps that have sold recently and say, here's where I think I want to price my home. You can price your home wherever you want to, but we want to give you unbiased information based off of that. So now your home's out there, we've got the photos taken, we take that information, we upload it to Zillow, Trulia, Craigslist, Facebook, Instagram. Carla, you're doing some stuff with Instagram and Pinterest. There's so many different forms of media out there now today that you didn't have 10, 15 years ago that helps you sell your home.
Absolutely.
So it's out there. And then probably one of the most important pieces, and I shouldn't say most important, but a very important piece to our puzzle is we have an attorney, a real estate attorney. So we have all your legal documentation on your seller dashboard that you can literally check the box and print that off and give that to a potential buyer. Or if you have specific questions, you can consult with Doug. And next time we do this, we're going to have Doug on here. I want to give plenty of time for Doug to answer some of the questions that he may, typical questions that come through. But Doug can help with the purchase agreement. If the buyer isn't represented by a buyer's agent, the buyer and the seller can come in, sit down in our conference room with Doug, draft up the purchase agreement. So we feel that technology is enabling to go out and do the right job, so we want to utilize that technology, but we also understand this is most people's biggest investment. And so they need that personal touch and know that they have people in place, the professionals in place. And that's why tonight I thought it was really important to introduce a couple of members of our team.
Absolutely.
Michael is our photographer, and I'm going to step out of the way here and let Michael talk a little bit. And Brandon, we're excited to have Brandon on board. Brandon just came on board with Loan Depot, and Brandon has his own story too. I mean, Brandon was
Right.
my first client.
Oh.
Brandon was with another mortgage lender at the time and had bought a home and was in the neighborhood at a title company closing, and he was walking by, and he recognized, being in this industry, what FSBO was, and he just
Right.
popped in, and he was our very first client that used our service. So
See, and that's really cool. And before you jump off camera, if you know, because it is your largest investment or your largest purchase, you can find out more if you go to fsbohomes.com/Woodbury, or if you go to fsbohomes.com, click on Woodbury. Vince's background is pretty amazing, so you're not just getting some guy who bought a franchise in Woodbury. Share a little bit about your background.
yeah, so my background is in residential design and construction. Went to a tech school for architecture. Came back, went to Iowa State University. I'm originally from Iowa. Went to Iowa State University, worked for a commercial contractor for 5 years in my hometown. We did large projects,
Right.
Large commercial projects at Iowa State, hospitals, things like that. And then from there, my wife and I always loved Minnesota. My parents, when I graduated, moved to Forest Lake, so we would come up here during our break. Loved it up here, decided we wanted to move up here, and I worked for a couple of corporate companies before I started my design business back in 99, 2000, right in that range. And I did that all the way up until this point. The two founders of FSBO Homes was good friends of mine. They were engineers. They went to Iowa State as well. We've been talking for 4 years probably to bring this model up to the Twin Cities, and I'm excited to be part of their team.
Well, and I know a lot of people are excited to have you here. The media, you've probably heard Vince and FSBOHomes.com mentioned on the local television here, local radio. We've had him on our show before. You'll be seeing him on a lot. And he was talking about the social media. I handle that. So we post, in addition to what he was talking about, I take those posts and I put them on every social medium that I can. And so we're here to help you. But what's ironic is you get the letters FSBO Home and you think for sale by owner and you've got to do everything yourself. You don't. You're getting a team, and you're going to hear a little bit from that team. Before we go into that, Joni Fletty had asked a question before, and she re-asked it again. Do you qualify buyers? Maybe that's going to be a question for you, Brandon.
I do.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, if you're selling your home, and, sorry.
Yep.
I assume if you're the person listing the home, you're talking about an incoming buyer, and the answer is yes. If they don't already have a pre-approval letter, or even if they do, I'm right in Vince's office. I'm happy to pre-approve anybody that, that's approvable, and make sure that you're going to have a smooth process on the financing side of the purchase. So.
But if a person's coming in, so we've got a home that we're listing, and a person's coming in to buy it, so let's say I'm selling my home through FSBO Homes, and I have a buyer, will that buyer be pre-qualified? I think maybe that's what she was asking too.
You're asking if the buyer would be pre-qualified as they, well, it depends on the buyer. I mean,
right.
Every buyer, whether it's FSBO home or not, unless they're paying cash, needs to be able to be qualified for a mortgage. So, they have to have the
And you
the
can ask
assets
that,
and the
right?
down payment and that sort of thing. But that's I have a extremely quick online application. If I can text it to the potential buyer, and they can fill it out in 10 minutes, get it back to me, I should be able to tell if they're qualified or not, and I don't know, inside of a half an hour.
Wow,
So
that's great. We have a good crew that's joined us this time, so thank you all for being so patient. You're right now hearing from Brandon Peterson, who is the loan, what's your title?
I'm the in-house loan officer, so I handle the financing for. Well, I should say legally, you don't have to use me, but we will be doing pricing specials and things like that for people that use the whole crew, and that includes for the people buying the house, as well as the people that are listing their place and buying another place. There's it's a volume business. So
Yeah.
as a place that saves people money, we understand that the goal is for people to save money, and the more volume that we do, on the mortgage side too. The more volume
Right.
that I'm doing, the more
It's a
the more
team.
money I can save people on their
Right.
mortgage, the more pricing specials I can offer, things like that. So this is a good spot to be to do the loan as well as to purchase the property.
Well, and I want to ask you more questions, but I'm going to have Vince step off camera and bring Michael in too, because I want to talk to part of the FSBOHomes.com Woodbury team here. As Vince was saying, Vince Meyer, who is the owner and the managing partner here in the Twin Cities, and you've seen him on the show before, but it's when you talk to Vince and you decide you're going to list your home, let's say with FSBOHomes.com, you don't just get Vince and a bunch of signs. You get what he mentioned before, access to an attorney, professional pictures, 3D tour, the sketches. What do you call the sketches of the homes?
The floor plans?
Yeah. Oh, they're floor plans. Okay. They're floor plans, and we'll get into that too. You get access to a loan officer. Is that that's what your title? Yep. And so much more. The marketing, the unbiased appraisal. And we'll get back into some of that as well and how you can reach out to Vince. But I specifically want to start with you, Brandon. I have some questions, and then we'll get into. I know. I'm so sorry I did that. And thank you to all of you who are online. I'm going to from Joni to Aaron, Scott, Kate, Vinny, Michael, Mike, Amy, Blaze, Mike, my dad. Hi, Carl. My dad thinks this is the most brilliant concept. He tells me that all the time. So thank you for tuning in. Barry, in fact, he said, I wish I would have thought of it before retirement age. And I'm like, you still could. But anyway, so I kind of already asked you, but just to give the viewers who have, because some will be tuning in and out, and for those of you who are just tuning in, my name is Carla Berline from Around Town TV. We are at FSBOHomes.com Woodbury, and right now Brandon Peterson is, one of the things I want to kind of him to explain is how he fits in here at FSBO Homes.
Yeah, so my role is to basically pre-qualify any incoming buyers, I should say, and anybody that's coming in to use the service to sell their home, help them buy their next property. Now, you don't have to use me. You could use your other person that you've been working with for a long time, or your cousin or whoever it is that you normally would do a mortgage with. But we are going to have great pricing specials for the people buying the homes that you're listing, as well as the person that comes through and lists their home and uses the whole crew here under this roof. So there will be opportunities to save money on the financing side as well. I look forward to being able to provide some more details on what pricing specials and things we'll be able to provide once we get that all worked out. It's I just joined Vince a couple weeks ago, and then I was in California all week for training last week for the new company. I do have a few years experience of actually originating different company, different systems, that kind of thing. So
well, and maybe tell, in a
few weeks we'll know more.
If you see commercials on TV, a lot of times like the hair commercials, you'll hear him say, I not only own the joint, I'm a customer or whatever. That sort of is kind of what happened. Why don't you share your story and how you got involved?
Yeah, so I was here to buy my current house, and hadn't listed my old place, my starter home. I was here to close on the new place, the title company down the street, and I was walking by and I saw the Vince's sign up, and I don't think he even had signs on the walls or anything, just the one above the door. And I popped in and ended up talking to him, and he explained the process. And I mean, I must have had 50 questions for him, because it's one of those too good to be true things, right? So it's like, how could you possibly turn a profit on that? Like, how does this make sense? But I mean, I drilled down, and I grilled him for probably, the full half hour I had before my closing.
Wow.
And he had an answer for every single, like an honest, good answer for every question I had. And essentially what it boils down to is, this business is a business based on volume, and as you do more volume, you can, cut your costs, and I'll be doing loans cheaper. I'm sure your cost is different from if somebody just calls you off the street, because we're working in volume. And that's just kind of how it works. So it's a great product. I ended up using it. I sold my home in under 30 days, and I showed it 3 times. And I saved, first off, I got $5,000 more than the listing agent that I talked to said he would get me as an estimate. And I saved about $5,000 in realtor fees too. So made about $10,000 more net than that listing agent projected.
Yep.
And
that's a lot.
I did it in under a month. And I showed it 3 times. And you showed
See.
yours like 42?
46.
46?
Yes,
46.
and we'll talk to him in a little bit, but I know. Through a realtor, and same with my parents. They had two different realtors, both supposedly great realtors, unique location in Chaska, bought their home in the peak, sold when it wasn't the peak, and my mom is terminally ill with metastatic bone cancer, and even though it said in the notes that we would, please, if you can't make a showing, you're going to let us know, because for her to leave is a big deal when you're taking chemotherapy. So you clean the house, as you know, 46 times. I'm sure we had at least that many times. And I can't tell you how many of those 46 or whatever times people never even showed up and never bothered. They maybe didn't, they got to the curb and we had a beautiful curbside appeal, but this is different. You'll be in control, but you'll have help.
Yeah, I don't want to go too far into what you're doing, but the
Right.
camera thing, the Matterport, it's
Yep.
incredible. I mean, you can walk through and you click on the little circles and you walk right through the house. I won't go too deep into it, but I totally buy into the idea that you're not showing it to anybody unless they've already been through your house twice or 3 times
Let's,
or more.
I want to ask him about
Sorry.
that. No, you're perfect. You're perfect. And I'll come back to you too.
Now what are you gonna talk about?
So now we have Michael Hammerland.
I'm out.
He's out. Michael is kind of an important person in this as well. Every piece is that it is part of this package because he does professional pictures. You get a 3D home tour so people can see, and if you want to check it out, there's a couple postings on Facebook right now that you can see what it looks like. It is amazing. And people always ask, is it exclusive to this? It's not, but we'll let him get into that. The pictures, and then of course the floor plans.
Yeah, I think one of the distinct advantages to FSBO Homes is the 3D tour. I think everyone who's been home shopping, they've seen 3D tours out there, but historically speaking, these 3D tours have been more for these, upper end homes.
Right.
And, expensive listings and $1 million homes. And this, we do the 3D tour for everyone, whether you have a starter home or, a $1 million home. The Matterport, the 3D scan is a game changer. Like we talked, I sold my house back last October, that was 46 showings. Aside from the no-shows, the second most annoying part was people that would come through, spend 2 minutes there, and then they'd give the realtor feedback. The layout wasn't just right.
Well-
We loved the home, it was updated, it was clean, but the layout wasn't right for us.
And they
those are
could have known that from the 3D tour.
precisely.
Yeah, they didn't look.
And the floor plans.
And the floor plans, so between the floor plans and the 3D tour of being able to virtually walk through that home as many times as you wanted to before you make that appointment, that's going to filter out anybody that is even marginally not interested.
Right.
And it's a game changer. For a home seller, do not underestimate the hassle of having to leave.
Right.
We had a 4-year-old at the time, and having to pack up the 4-year-old.
46 times.
It was
With a
crazy.
realtor. He wasn't with FSBO Homes at the time. And now that he is part of FSBO Homes, one of the first days I met him, we had a meeting here, and he's like, I wish I had been.
I was a month too late, or too early.
Right,
Yeah.
right, as were we. But it is here now. It's in Woodbury, but they do cover, Vince is the managing partner across the Twin Cities. We do have a franchisee that'll be opening the Southwest.
Yep.
Southwest, but they're,
Minnetonka location.
yep, for the Minnetonka and,
It'll be the southwest part of the
Of
city.
cities,
but
okay.
Right now, they're looking at the Minnetonka for the office location.
perfect, Minnetonka
And they're-
location.
And that is Jeff and Amy Kent Schneider, and they're already set up to start serving clients and then work out of our office for what they need to in order to start taking listings over in that area.
So we take listings here in Woodbury from across the Twin Cities. So, and they are working out of this home. So if you're sitting in Chaska right now and you're like, well, that's great, but they're in Woodbury and in traffic, that's an hour and 20-minute drive. No worries, because most of it can be done over, through technology today. You don't have to worry about that. And we are soon going to have an office there, but to make it more convenient. But we can help you. And when you're saving $10,000, $15,000, doesn't matter. You could be located in Duluth, and I would do that. Yeah, but it's not. So anyway, you also talk about, you're not just some photographer that just goes in and takes pictures. It's professional real estate pictures.
Sure. So, it starts with professional equipment. I'm not showing up with a point-and-shoot camera. I have thousands of dollars in gear. I have the right lenses for shooting those wide angles in smaller rooms. Knowing, what lenses, what lighting, exposures, flashes, things like that to use. I think when we look at homes online, you can tell those photos that, number one, may have been taken on an iPhone and people use those for their listings.
Yes.
So people that are using the point and shoots, the really distinct quality with the FSBO home listing photos, I think they speak for themselves. I think they really help showcase your home. I've had some people say the photos look way nicer than my home actually is. And a lot of that's some of those wide angles. A lot of it's wide angles.
It's all in marketing, and it's all in, but the room sketches are there too. So if you need to know the exact sizing, you will have that up front as well before you would even need to reach out. So before you even would reach out to the person who's listing the home, you've got the sketches of the rooms, you've got the beautiful pictures, and you've got this 3D tour that you can watch as many times as you want.
Sure.
And it really does showcase that. Is there anything else, just with your experience in real estate, of what you think might be a little unique?
I always help coach people. Sometimes I'll show up and they'll ask me, hey, does this room look right? Would you set this differently? Going through enough homes, there are certain things that you'll point out, toilet seats down, having some of your personal effects away. There are times where I'm shooting in someone's personal office, I might see a bank statement out. I'll say, hey, I'm just going to flip this over, because that Matterport camera actually captures a lot of detail.
Yes.
So I'm always on the lookout for things that are personal for folks, and
Yep.
to me, that's just an added value that we're providing for the clients. For the right listings too, if it will help showcase it, I do drone aerial shots, which other photographers and other outfits would probably charge a premium for.
Oh, yeah.
I don't. It's part of just what I do. Yeah.
Wow.
We really want to be a service first team.
Right, to help. And Michael, I think you said it too. It doesn't matter if you're selling a condominium that's 900 square feet or even 600 square feet, or a home that's 12,000 square feet. It's the same pricing at FSBOHomes.com, Woodbury, and all the other locations here in Minnesota. And you get the same. They're not gonna not give you the pictures or the signage or access to Brandon or the appraisal or the marketing or the attorney. You get it all, no matter what.
Yeah, I think service
Yeah.
is probably just number one. We've had a couple listings where we've done the shots and they've requested, I'd like this, this, and this. And I've actually gone back out. We haven't charged them any extra. We want them to be happy with the photos.
Right.
At the end of the day. So, service is, I think, what everyone on the team here is all about.
Well, you know how you were talking about with pictures and this is like a side personal note, but one of my friends, I've had this show in the Twin Cities here for 15 years. It was on cable, so it's all a perspective, but one of the realtors had said, was taking pictures for one of my dear friends, you can't have pictures of celebrities in your house. And she said, what do you mean? And she said, there was a picture of me and her, because she had watched my show. And she goes, well, Carla. And she's like, she's not a celebrity. She has a cable show. She's like, well, you can't. So when you were saying that, I'm like, well, see, it all just depends on who, right? Some people think you're nothing, and you're the realtor. And so when she calls me, she goes, just so you know, I had to get rid of the picture of us. But you were kind of leaning to that, too, when you were talking about.
Some shoots I show up, everything's perfect and ready to go. There are others where we're walking room to room and they're cleaning up the room right before I get in.
Yeah.
So everyone has different stages of being ready. It's a lot of work to stage a home. I speak from experience. So I have a little empathy for folks. One of the classic lines is, it's all ready now, don't look in the garage. So people will find stuff in the garage, which is fine. We typically don't shoot.
I've had that come up 3 times this week.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they threw everything in the
Just
garage.
don't look in the
And I
garage.
said, Michael doesn't shoot the garage unless it's something
Oh my gosh.
specifically you want, but.
That's funny, yeah.
I remember going through and just pulling all
Oh,
the
give
crap
him the
out of
mic.
my garage.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember going through and pulling all the crap out of my garage before the day I met Michael when he came to my house, and I just remember I was just a bucket of sweat because I was just pulling just piles and piles of junk out of my house and garage and throwing it on the side of the driveway. So yeah, I could see how that would be how that would turn out to be an issue. Yeah. So.
Since you have the mic, I wanted to ask you, what is the process like from a seller's perspective?
When I did it, I can say that it starts with scheduling Michael to come out, take the photo shoot. He showed up on time. Vince showed up too, and shot the house. That was very easy. I mean, I was happy I was there because I got to see the Matterport thing in action, which
Isn't
is
that
super
cool?
cool. And
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, it measures all the rooms, right?
Yep.
So it basically gives the appraiser a blueprint to work off of.
Yeah.
So essentially, it does all the measuring and stuff that an appraiser would do if they came, which makes the appraisal just as accurate as if he had gone out there himself,
Right,
which is something I wanted to make sure was mentioned.
right.
And you were probably going to get to that too, but
No, it's, to me, it's a big piece of this, so as many
Yeah.
times as you want to mention it, you can both talk
yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, so that was really easy, and they had
Yeah.
my listing up on Zillow and Trulia and everything else, and I think under a week. And then I get to
And you had 3 showings?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, within the next 3 weeks, I did 3 showings, and all 3 of them were going to make an offer. Well, the third one obviously made an offer. I sold the house to him. And the first 2 also were considering an offer. So I mean, I didn't have anybody go in there and walk through it and leave and never heard from them. I heard from both realtors. Yeah, my clients are writing up an offer,
Wow.
and the third one actually came through, and it was a good offer, and I took it. I mean,
Wow.
I think I came back and, well, of course, working at FSBOHOMES.com, I had to go back and ask the buying realtor to knock a quarter point off his percentage too.
Right.
So,
When you understand that, so you can help.
You consulted with Doug too, if I remember.
yes, I did. I consulted with Doug, the real estate attorney here at FSBO Homes.
Yep.
And had him check out the contract just to make sure that there was nothing in there that could potentially, could put me at risk. And
Right.
absolutely no problem whatsoever. So
And you saved how much?
I saved in realtor commissions. I saved about $5,000.
Wow. But
and
you were
then I
like
sold it for
10,000.
$5,000 over what the listing agent said that I should list it for too. So
See.
overall, about $10,000
Right.
equity additional from what he had estimated when I talked to a listing agent.
Talk about, because you're in the money side of it, talk about the appraisals. It's an unbiased appraisal, and I know, and we'll have you talk on that too, but.
Yeah, yeah. Whenever I talk to somebody about FSBO Homes, my biggest piece of advice is seriously ask him every question you can think of. If you think this isn't the way to go, ask every single question you can possibly think of. I promise you, when you're finally done,
Whoops.
you will realize that this is a no-brainer. Seriously,
And you did,
it
didn't you
is.
say literally 50 questions when you met Vince? Sorry,
I-
guys.
I'm estimating, but I mean, I know I was really digging by the end.
Right.
But so, the only, it's the easiest thing ever. All you have to do is answer your phone and open the door. Let somebody in your house let him in your house to take pictures. And then, I think you actually write up your own listing on Zillow, if I remember correctly, right? Like you write up and then,
We assist the homeowner with that.
okay.
With the marketing,
So,
the marketing piece of it.
Right, yeah. I mean, Vince gives you the opportunity to basically highlight the things that you like about your home, and then obviously he's seen enough listings.
Right.
He'll consult with you. if
They're
he-
beautiful. I love, and I'm not, I do, Around Town Media is one of the marketing consultants, but I don't write those, and I have to say I'm really blown away and impressed. I'm going to interrupt because somebody did ask for the website. It's FSBO.com, or FSBOHomes.com, FSBOHomes.com, and then click on Woodbury. You can also go to FSBOHomes.com/Woodbury. That'll take you straight to our landing page where Vince's contact information, everything about his background, what this is all about, and that way you can reach out to him through phone or email, and he will get back to you right away.
You asked me something specific, and I went into a very broad response. What was that question again? Do you know?
Was it the appraisal?
Yeah.
About,
the unbiased.
Oh, right,
value
the
opinion.
unbiased, yes.
Right. And I started
No,
spitballing about
there's so
broad
much to
topics.
talk about and explain.
So the thing with that is, okay, so one of the things that, one of the biggest things that people worry about when you talk about selling your own home is, I want to make sure I get what it's worth. I don't want to, undersell. Well, we're sending it to a professional appraiser, who is, he's going to give you a legitimate value on it based on comparable sales, which is exactly what lenders use. If you think your home is worth $400,000 and the appraiser says it's worth $300,000, I mean, somebody did offer you $400,000, that person, unless they're paying cash, is probably gonna run into problems with their financing.
Yeah.
Because if the comparable sales, say it's $300,000, it's probably around $300,000 in a lender's eyes.
Right.
So really, what that does for you is it gets you a good idea of what that home is going to sell for in reality, as well as what a lender will lend on it as well. So
Right.
that doesn't mean you can't list it for a little bit over that. I did. I listed it a few thousand over, and I ended up coming down and selling for just under what the FSBO Homes appraiser valued it at. It shouldn't say recommended.
But you'll get guidance on that.
Yeah.
So if that's
Yeah,
not your thing.
it's always your choice on what you want to list it
Right,
for.
right.
But it's a good value. It's a value that you should really take into account. And if we got into a situation where you really thought, gosh, I really thought it was worth more, we can talk about consulting a second appraiser and see we can. Vince has done that sort of thing. I don't want to start advertising that because that's not
Right,
generally what he
right.
does. But
Exactly.
but
Yes.
it's all about customer service.
It
When I
is.
said earlier this is a volume business, I did not mean. I meant that's how we keep costs down. That's how Vince keeps costs
Right.
down, the whole program. But it's not. There's no sacrifice for service at all. I mean, it's
They know how many
It's
they can
100%.
handle for each franchise, and if they, God forbid, got to that point where, their limit and they know how many listings that is, then it's just like any realtor, really.
Right. Well,
Then they're
I
going to make sure there's another franchisee.
I mean, Vince is here all day, every day.
Right.
Realtors, and I'm not saying that there's no place for realtors. I think there is.
Right, definitely.
But
I have a lot of friends that are even watching this, and I even have family that owns a real estate company. So we know there is. This is another option.
Yeah.
This should have been the option that my parents used because they bought high in 2004. They sold in 2016. That was all equity. All equity. We could probably have gone, on, I don't even want to think about what, Yeah.
I'm going off track here for just a second. I was thinking about this earlier today. Like, what can I compare this model to? And I ended up thinking of like Papa Murphy's.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Like, Papa Murphy's is just as good as like Pizza Hut or any of the other places. All they did was say, you know what, we're going to make the same thing fresh right in front of you, but I'm not going to pay somebody to pop it in the oven. That's easy.
Or deliver it to you cold.
Right. So you bring it home and throw it in the oven. That's
Right.
the easy part. We'll do all the stuff
Right.
you don't know how to do or don't
Right.
have skills to do.
Right.
And
Convenient.
you go home and just answer the phone and open the door.
That's a
You
great
go home and
analogy.
pop it in the oven.
Yeah.
So it's that easy, really. I mean, it's
And we're not comparing your home, your most prized possession, to like a sandwich or a pizza, but with the business model is that easy. You're getting the best. You're getting the attorney. You're getting the professional real estate. You're getting the financial piece, the marketing, the non-biased appraisal. You're getting all of the professional. You don't have to pay the realtor commissions.
right. And honestly, really, I feel like I'm bashing realtors. I don't mean to be.
Nope.
But when you think about, if you talk to a realtor, they're going to tell you, well, you need a professional real estate person to make sure that nothing bad happens. Well, they are a professional real estate person, but you know who knows more than them? A real estate attorney,
Right.
which we have here.
Right.
And they're also going to tell you, well, you don't know, you're probably going to get lowballed. You won't know what to sell for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they probably have a pretty good idea what it should sell for, but who knows better? A
Right.
professional appraiser,
Right.
which we have here. So, there's just, in my opinion, and the photos that he shoots,
Oh, they're
the
awesome.
walkthrough
Yeah.
is better than most realtor listings.
Yeah.
In my opinion, this business doesn't do the same thing for less, it does better for less.
Well, I'm in the industry. I'm in video production, and I was like, I called Vince and like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I have to interrupt. So somebody did ask, and it might be a question for Vince. What is the average time from listing to sale? Yeah, might have popped in. You might not see him, but oh, okay, Michael. Yeah, we'll get you back, Michael.
Spots
Yeah,
here.
yep.
So it really does vary on the price of the home. The one thing that Brad does, our appraiser, is he pulls the comparables based on the price of the home that have sold and the average amount of time that it took to sell that home. So
Okay.
there's not an easy answer for you. You know, we've got some homes that are 650,000, and then we have some homes that are 250,000. We have some homeowners that take the appraisal, and then they tack on, 3 to 5%, onto that appraisal price, and that's where they start, knowing that
Okay.
they can negotiate a little bit down if they
Well, and
want
I
to.
think what she meant is, from like the time you put your house on the market to the time it sells, I know they're selling fast right now.
And again,
That's
it's
hard.
it's
Okay.
really based upon, is the home priced correctly? Again,
Yes.
we provide the services there to do that, but yet we still have some homeowners that come to us and say, we're going to test the market, and we're interested in your appraisal, but we're going to tack a little bit on there because we're in not a big hurry. Matter of
Right.
fact, a client came in today, and that's exactly what he said. They're moving down to Iowa. And he told his wife, he's like, well, if we can get this, let's sell it. But if we can't, maybe we'll keep it because they still have a daughter out that works for 3M.
Right.
And he actually called it his cabin. We'll just come up to our cabin.
Oh, see.
So,
Well,
yeah.
and I'm seeing that a lot too. I know somebody whose home was on the market for 3 years. They had the same attitude. Well, the reason it was on the market for 3 years is it was overpriced. When they brought it down to what the realtor and the appraiser told them it would sell for, that's exactly what it sold for. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, so that's another way to, I hope that answers your question, Joni, as well. And Michael, did we get all the questions from you that you wanted? We can always bring them back too. Okay, did you share everything you wanted?
Yeah, I mean, if
Yeah.
anyone had questions about, how long it takes to shoot, I could,
Oh.
give a 60-second.
Oh, sure, we
Based
can
on
do
that,
that.
just
Yep,
what
we
to
can do,
expect.
yeah. Should we wait and do that and do a few more questions, or do you want him to do that right now?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, yeah, why don't we pop you back in, we'll talk about that, and then we'll close out with Vince and make sure I got everything from you as well, because I know we had a couple more questions. No, this is good stuff, and we've got people on,
How often does the family dog walk into the Matterport?
Every once in a while.
oh my gosh.
I've had it happen a couple times.
Oh, gosh.
And sometimes I don't realize it until I get the scans back and I'm
Oh.
walking through the house, I'm like, there's a dog in the shot.
My former Bashan would have done that, or my current one would have done anything to be out of it.
Oh.
So go ahead and share what you were going
Yeah, I was
to.
just talking about the process. So
Yep.
once Vince in the office sets up the photo shoot, I arrive. The first thing I do is just visit with the folks. I really want to get that nickel tour to see what the house layout is. And I really ask every client, what do you love about this house? What are your favorite features of this house? Because I want to make sure I for sure capture those things and showcase those images. And then start out with the still photos. On average, the still photos take 15 to 20 minutes to shoot.
Wow.
The bulk of the time is the Matterport, so depending on how big the house is, anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour.
That's quick.
If you're in a 4,000 plus square foot home, you're looking at about an hour and a half to do almost 3D scans.
Oh, yeah.
Some of these big homes that have, main floor, upstairs, and finished basement, it does take quite some time. So
Yeah.
I just like people to be prepared for that.
Right.
As far as that
And that's
time.
really quick, because
Yeah.
I think about us doing like a 3-minute feature story, and if we were gonna do a home like that, it would be 3 hours.
Yeah, so on average, my average time on site is an hour and a half.
That's
I
nice.
always end my shoot with the exterior work, so by that time, if people need to get going or any of that stuff, I can work independently outside. So walk the whole property, make sure I get all the angles of the yard, any yard features, if you have a pool or a gazebo or fire pit, make sure we get all those things. And then weather permitting or space permitting, I always like to capture the aerials too. So
Awesome.
getting aerials to the front, back, and then just a top-down view of the lot. People want to see those things too.
That's great,
So,
no.
My
Anything,
turnaround time,
yeah.
the still photos I typically upload within 12 to 24 hours to the portal.
wow,
So that part's really quick. The Matterport, we upload the data to Matterport. They return the 3D virtual tour typically within 24 hours.
wow.
That link gets uploaded, and then the last piece is the floor plans. That's generally no later than 48 hours after the shoot.
And honestly, being in the industry, the fees that you pay, you would pay that just to get this quality of photos and the video and the room's sizing easily. So, I mean, that alone, that doesn't include the attorney, the appraiser, and the listing, the whole thing. So anything else that they should know from your aspect or your point of view of what you're doing for them?
No,
Okay.
people ask, hey, does my home look good? If you think it looks good, just, go with it. That's, you know your home better than I do.
Yeah.
I'll capture the best side of your house and some people said, I'll make it probably look better than you even think it does.
Oh, you do. You do a great job. So,
Thank you.
okay. And I have a couple more questions for for Brandon, excuse me. And then I'll bring, when we're done with you, I'll bring Vince back in to close out the show too. But you can go ahead and just smile. No. Oh, I thought I just. Right. So one of the things I wanted to, because I know you and I had talked about this even off camera, is, nothing is perfect. Are there any concerns or drawbacks from using FSBOHomes.com?
There's one annoying thing about it, and that is that anything that hits Zillow on it that's listed as FSBO, you're going to get a lot of calls for listing agents trying to convince you that you need a real estate agent to sell your house. You don't. It's just they're looking for business, aren't we all? But that it's easy leads for them to grab for free, and they figure that that's the pitch that they can tell you. They're going to tell you the same things I mentioned earlier.
Right.
You're not going to know where to price it.
Right.
There's about 10 of them. I can list them all out on the website if you'd like.
Right.
But it's the same cookie cutter arguments every single time.
Yep.
And there's a honest, reasonable answer why every single one of them doesn't apply in this situation.
Right.
So
So ask the questions. That was going to be.
Ask the questions.
Yeah. Is
That's-
there anything else and I'd asked you this before. Is there anything else you would want my viewers to know? And you said ask questions.
ask the questions. I mean,
Yep.
when I was doing, we used to have these refinances called HARP 3 steps when I was a few years ago, and essentially all you had to do is, I'd call and I'd say, do you want to do it? Talk 5 minutes, and I would mail you papers, and you'd sign a paper, and they'd lower your rate for free. And I got hung up on all the time, and people, and I won't repeat some of the things that people would say, because people didn't trust the banking industry after everything, yada yada yada. Well, it's harder than you think to sell people their own money for free. Like it really is. When people hear something that's too good to be true, they think, I better just do what everybody else does, or I'm not gonna, I'm fine. I can make my payment. I still have food on the table.
Right.
Well, seriously, ask the questions. There's some things that seem too good to be true, or there's a reason why they're there, and
Right.
they're completely legitimate.
Right.
Which this is an example of that as well. So, all I can say is ask every single question you can think of if you're thinking about it, or if you know somebody that's thinking about selling their home, tell them to ask every single question that they can possibly think of.
Yeah.
And if they really want to, ask the realtor what questions that they would have, because I guarantee that Vince can answer every single one of them.
Yeah.
On the way over here, I was kind of thinking, well, what it would look like the well,
No, he
well,
is.
maybe
Yeah.
Vince doesn't like to argue. I'll do it for him. That's fine.
Yeah. Or I do.
Yeah, I was thinking like on the news channels where they have the middle person and then
Yeah.
the liberal person and the conservative person, and they're just bickering.
Yep.
I can just imagine like me or Vince, and then like a realtor just getting red in the face, just like so mad.
Well, and it
it's
does,
just like,
and that's
it's-
why if you're hearing from them, it does take money out of their pockets.
It does. It's
But it's saving you money for your family to put back into your family. So, so that helps as well. Oh, how does one get started with you? Joni, you can email Vince at vince@fsbohomes.com. Or if you're asking for the public, you can also call 651-342-8790. Get that right? 8790.
Yes.
See, I've said it enough. So at vince@fsbohomes.com or 651-342-8790, or go to fsbohomes.com, click on Woodbury. We also have our own landing page where you'll see the email and the phone number right there. So that should help as well. I'm going to bring Vince in too, but Mike, was there, between the two of you, Brandon and Michael, is there anything else that we didn't cover with you? I know we could be here for hours because there's so many awesome things.
yeah. I'm gonna get my information on Vince's page, and if anybody has any questions about it from the person that's listening side,
Yeah.
I'd be happy to answer. The process was great. I'd be happy to give any insight. And as far as pre-approvals for
Right.
incoming buyers and things like that, just call Vince, stop into the office, and we can work all that out. It's pretty quick and seamless, and we have a pretty seamless process. Oh, and additionally, one more reason that you might want to do things through the office entirely is because we should be able to close loans extremely quickly here,
Wow.
considering we do FSBO all day, every day, which
Right.
most lenders don't. One in
Right.
every how many homes it sells is
Right.
FSBO. So when you're working with a lender that specializes in it, you specialize
It's
in a
going to be
unique
more
product.
seamless.
It's gonna be more
Yeah.
seamless.
And you're hearing from Brandon Peterson, who met Vince at FSBOHomes.com when he was on his way to a closing, and he had another home to sell, ended up using it, loved the process, had 3 showings, sold it in 3 weeks, and ended up with 5,000 more than 10,000 total. You were ahead.
5,000 because of Vince and 5,000 because of what kind of salesman I am, I guess.
Well, we'll let you think about that. But no, that just gives you an example. So as a loan officer, he then now works in the office here with Vince. That's how much he believed in the product. And that alone is like its own review in itself. So, and speaking of which, go to Facebook, look at the reviews, ask. Even though they're newer in Minnesota, they've been in Iowa a very long time, and they're hugely successful. So, anything else that you'd like to say before I bring Vince back in? No? Okay. All right. Well, I'll let you switch with Vince, and then oh, he's going to leave us too.
Yeah, I think I've done enough.
Okay. Enough damage. Oh, he just went in front. Yeah. Nope, you're all good. Okay, so I think we've covered mostly everything, but is there anything else that you think the viewers should know?
No, I don't think so. I mean, other than we do have a team here to serve our clients, and that's what I'm excited about. Michael does a phenomenal job. He's been with us since day one. We're excited to have Brandon on board, and like I said, he's just been here for a week or so.
Yep.
Gone for training last week, and he's going to be a great addition for all our lending needs for our clients. And I'm excited to 2 more pieces to the puzzle is Doug, our attorney.
Yep.
Again, next time we do this, we're going to have Doug here. I wanted to have a little bit more time exclusively for Doug, because I think there's going to be some specific questions for Doug.
Right.
That he's going to be able to answer and what he can do and help with and so forth. And then the last piece is we're excited to bring Jeff and Amy Kent Schneider on board.
Yes.
And get things rolling over on the west side of the cities. They're super excited. They know a ton of people in their community. They're actively promoting FSBO homes over in that area now, and we're really excited to have them part of our team. So.
And speaking of which, they are going to be the newest members, which will be franchising. If you hear like water and zippers, that's Brandon. Yeah, he's trying to get home to put his child to bed. But anyway, we're talking about a couple that is going to be opening an office in Minnetonka. But there are other locations and franchise opportunities available as well, right?
There is. When we originally looked at the Minneapolis location, we think that there's probably 8 to 10 more offices that can go in. We know that a population base can easily, 250,000 people can serve one office, and that franchise owner can make a very solid income from that. So
And
we're excited
save
to
all
just,
the people listing a lot of money. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we do have franchise opportunities available, and we're here to grow in the Twin Cities, and we're excited to be up here.
Anything else before we close the show?
I don't think so.
Go to fsbohomes.com/Woodbury, or you can go to fsbohomes.com and click on Woodbury. Email Vince at fsbohomes.com, or give him a call at 651-342-8790. We will look through for those who maybe have commented that I didn't see and message, and we will get back to you. And this one didn't seem to cut out, but we will upload the Vimeo recorded copy of this as well. I appreciate you all tuning in. My name is Carla Berline from Around Town TV, and Vince Meyer is the managing partner here in the Twin Cities and the owner of the Woodbury location. And you'll be seeing him back on with Doug, the attorney, and then hopefully we'll get Amy and Jeff on as well, so you can hear it from their perspective. Thank you to Michael. Thank you to Brandon for joining us and sharing your experience and expertise as well. As you can see, you're in really, really good hands. So please reach out to us at any time. Again, thank you for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you all next Tuesday evening live at 7 p.m. Central Time with hopefully no technical difficulties. Thank you again. Bye-bye.